you got to say, he is the newcomer of the year in the NFL.
Well, when I've watched him, and I've watched him all year long, Jim, this is not a flash in the pan. And when you watch him, there's a couple of things that jump out. He can throw the football down the field as well as any quarterback in the National Football League. And all you got to do is talk to defensive players and coaches of the teams that he's getting ready to play, and they go, we got to be careful because he can single-handedly make throws to win football games.
He's got some impressive targets, too. The tight end, Kellen Winslow. You've got Braylon Edwards. You've got those two on track for 1,000-yard seasons. Well beyond it, in fact, be the first pair of receivers in Browns history to go over 1,000. Plus, Jurevicius. What about this weaponry?
Well, everything's got to meld together to have success in the NFL. And when you look at that receiving core, they can get down the field. They got a quarterback who can get it down the field. The play calling has been very good for all of them. Kellen Winslow, tight end, having a breakout year. It's working. That's why the Cleveland Browns are 5-3.
Things are working again for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you mentioned, they played here Monday night. Ben Roethlisberger, what a first half he had against the Ravens. He threw 5 touchdown passes. He has quietly had a spectacular season. Been a little bit lost, I believe, nationally, what he's been doing here.
Well, we're going to talk about today. You're right. He is having his best year of his career, I think. And the plays he made outside the pocket on Monday night, it's some of the best I've seen in this league. It was terrific. And also, when he stays in the pocket, he's so big and strong that he can break tackles and get out. But when you keep him inside, he's throwing the football so well, he can still make enough plays from inside to beat you, too.
You see the Steelers about to be introduced. There's James Ferrier, Deshae Townsend, who had a pick in that Week 1 matchup against Cleveland. But James Harrison, the linebacker, one of the great statistical performances by a defender, had 3.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and a pick on Monday night against the Ravens.
Well, it's a story. Can you believe it? Another really good linebacker by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And James Harrison finally gets his chance, and he has taken advantage of it. He's compact. He's powerful. He can rush the quarterback. A terrific blitzer. Makes plays in the backfield when you try to run it. And then we saw, given a chance down the field, athletic enough to make the catch and get those interceptions.
We're excited to be here, partner. It's a rivalry that has great history here. Pittsburgh and Cleveland about to tangle for the 112th time. And the NFL on CBS will continue from Heinz Field after this word from your local station. The NFL on CBS from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Experience all of this brought to you in high definition by Sony. The Browns and the Steelers. Coach Tomlin, Coach Crennel, they're ready to go, and the kickoff is next on CBS. Well, they've met 111 times, including 2 postseason matchups. The Steelers have the edge 56-55. They've won the last 8 in this series, Phil. What must Cleveland do here at the start?
All Cleveland talked to us about last night is we've been a slow starting team. We got to find a way to get it going early. And it's even more important when you play a team as quality as the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, again, you will see the Steelers offense on the field first. Explosive offense at that, on pace to be the highest scoring team in Pittsburgh history. Phil Dawson will kick it off, coming off the overtime winning field goal against Seattle last Sunday. So here we go. Allen Rossum from the 2 will run it to the right side. Skirts a couple of hits and a third, and then steps out of bounds just shy of the 30. Nice run back. Coming out for the Steelers, Mr. Perfect. He pitched the perfect game on Monday night and 5 touchdowns. The second time he's actually done that in his young career. 20 touches, only 6 picks, a great season. His line that cleared the way for 206 yards on the ground week 1 against Cleveland. And Willie Parker's been over 105 of the 8 games this year, including that week 1 matchup against the Browns. He's had tremendous success against Cleveland, including for over 200 yards in a matchup last December. They'll go with Parker. One on the left side right away, and it's only good for a couple. This including Lee Bodden, who came out of Duquesne right here in Pittsburgh. So it's a 2nd and 8 for the Steelers at 6-2 on the season. And basically the same play with the pitch to Parker, this time able to weave his way about 2 yards shy of the first. A gain of 6, and time for a little Sims philosophy.
Oh, I like to do this, Jim. When Pittsburgh has the ball, Ben Roethlisberger said, we have been unpredictable all year long. He hopes to continue that here today with the play calling. This Cleveland defense is not playing well really in any area, but if they keep Ben Roethlisberger in the pocket, at least that gives them a better chance. If he gets outside the pocket, he is going to make big plays against a defense that struggles.
Najee Davenport comes in, flanking the quarterback out of the gun on 3rd and 2. The Browns trying to blitz, and here comes the end around with Santonio Holmes. Threatens to throw it. And the Browns defense makes the play. They come up to make the hit. Andre Davis and Brodney Poole force a 3-and-out for Pittsburgh.
Really good job. It looks like it is going to be a pass. Nobody open down the field, and a defense that struggles. How important that you don't overplay, trying to make up for the fact that we haven't had good games. They were disciplined. Everybody stayed where they were supposed to be, and it stops a big play by the Steelers.
That defense that came up with the big 4th and 1 stop in overtime last week. It's a nice early boost, forcing the 3-and-out on the punt by Sepulveda. And Briggs, very little room to work with on that short side with the angled kick of 43 yards, a 5-yard run back. And here comes Derek Anderson. 6'6" with a rifle arm, 17 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. And Lewis with a career high last week of 4 touchdown rushes. It's the 4th highest scoring team in the league, and 4th in total yards. And they're coming out with Anderson throwing it. We've got a man who was looking for Winslow, and that one just wide of the mark. Winslow coming off a monster game last week, 11 catches. Anthony Smith starting in place of Ryan Clark, who's inactive today. 2nd down and 10 for the Browns. That was forced in there, trying to hit Edwards. Double coverage on the slant. Deshae Townsend really had it read out, and James Harrison came over to help. And here's your philosophy with the Browns.
Well, when Cleveland has the ball, Romeo Cordell said it many times, if we can protect Derek Anderson, he can make the plays down the field to our playmakers. Pittsburgh's defense, they respect this Cleveland offense in the big plays. They want their defenders in zone, and what that means, they're looking at the quarterback, and they can react and go to the football when it's thrown.
Anderson hasn't always been on target at the start of games. He has often struggled in the first quarter and then caught fire. But here he faces a 3rd and 10, and Jurvicious. Oh, this will be a close spot. What an effort by Jurvicious, knowing, and he's going to get enough. Looks like he's going to be able to get there. James Ferrier somehow had him, and Jurvicious kept his feet long enough to get that first down.
You know, as I watch this throw, it almost brings a smile to my face, because Derek Anderson said last night, he goes, you know, I'm not real good at dumping that ball off. I'm learning to get better, because when he was at Oregon State, it was throw it down the field, make plays, and he's done that at times here in the NFL. Of course, when you force it in the NFL, it usually means interceptions.
Now they'll go with the run, and it's Lewis stumbling, regaining his feet, and driving for another first down.
Jamal Lewis, the ball carrier.
Powerful run of 12 yards.
To me, when you look at Jamal Lewis, powerful, Jim, that's the word. I don't even know if that's good enough. But when you have an offense that can throw it down the field, and we've talked about it already, now you put a power running back in there. To me, that is a very good mix, and it goes well. And they've had some very good running games so far this year.
Lewis carried Larry Foote with him an extra couple of yards. And again, that career-high 4-touchdown performance last week. Didn't have big yardage, but he got the tough yard at the goal line 4 times. They run it with him again, and this one's only good for a couple. And in that game, Anderson had a career-high passing yardage, but didn't throw any touchdowns. He got him to the goal line and then let Lewis do the rest.
Yeah, it's one of those games you go, well, he didn't have any touchdowns. Well, he threw about 5 balls down inside the 5-yard line to get him down there. And Jamal Lewis, the offensive line, good enough, and he's strong enough to run it in.
You see Cribbs breaking huddle coming to the near side. Braylon Edwards sits out this play. He had 20 carries for 37 yards, Jamal, but the 4 scores. A 2nd down and 8. And that's right off the shoulder pads of Winslow. He came in there with a lot of heat. Winslow unable to handle it.
Can't tell what. Well, the blitz, the inside linebackers, is always a big thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's all they talked about, the Cleveland Browns last night, trying to figure out where guys are going to blitz from. And Derek Anderson, because of his height, when there's somebody in his face, he's able to physically still throw the football down the field. Steelers blitz the first time, they get a free runner to the quarterback.
It was Larry Foote who decked him. That pass actually was behind Winslow, not Winslow's fault. 3rd down and 8. And Winslow makes a nice grab with this one as Cleveland collects now its 3rd first down of this opening drive. Their opening drive as the defense set a pace here, forcing the Steelers to punt after 3 plays.
Good job. You see Kellen Winslow coming. He's going to go to the outside. He's covered well. It's just a perfect throw. And they had Kellen Winslow stacked behind the wide receiver. Why? Because they do not want him to get bumped as he's trying to run the route down the field.
So now they'll operate from the Pittsburgh 37. That one gained 12. Sending Vickers in motion. And on the delay, they give it to Lewis. And he's twisted down by Ike Taylor, only a yard.
Well, as you watch this already, I mean, you're playing this Pittsburgh's defense. It's so hard to run the football. They're 4th in the NFL. You know why you run it? Just to keep the rhythm of play calling and not let the defense just know that you're going to throw it every single down. So keep them honest, run it every once in a while, but you're going to win this game today if you're the Cleveland Browns by throwing it.
Dick LeBeau's defense, again, allowing the fewest points in the league this year. We call it 2nd and 9. Anderson, another connection to Winslow for another first at the 25, 12 yards.
Just a perfect throw, a blitz by the Steelers. I don't know how you pick it up. There's guys coming from everywhere. They're always moving. And Derek Anderson, I talked about it, he's 6'6", people all around him, and he's still able to make a perfect throw to Kellen Winslow on the outcut against Troy Polamalu. And that was across the field, Jim. I think you can already see it. We've watched him on TV many times, but make no doubt about it, this Derek Anderson can throw that football very well.
It's a big arm, no question. So first down, and it's Winslow to the 20. So they take 5 yards, just like that, brought down by Anthony Smith.
You know, I'm laughing because I'm talking to the Lance Barrow producers. He goes, man, this guy can throw the ball.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for about 5 weeks. And I heard Charlie Casserly on the pregame show talking about Derek Anderson. Maybe it's a one-year guy. Listen, I don't care what happens, Jim. If they lose the rest of the games, it won't be because of Derek Anderson. This guy is the real thing. I've watched a lot of him. He's got good footwork, and he has a terrific, terrific throwing arm.
It's 2nd and 5, and he's going to give it to Lewis. It's bounced at the line of scrimmage, no gain. So this is not a one-year wonder at all in your mind.
No, to me, there's too much. It's already been proven. He's done it enough, and it's like winning some races. You know, when you're a 100-meter runner, and you win a couple big races, well, you're not all of a sudden you're not going to get slow, are you? That's just not going to happen. And that's the same thing when I watch him play. When you're playing quarterback, I know there's a lot to it, but to me, the number one quality always is, can you really throw the ball? Can you make all the throws? Are you powerful doing it when you need to be? He is that guy.
3rd and 5. Tim Carter in as an extra receiver. Jason Wright is the 3rd down back. Anderson goes with a second option, and that picks up another first. That's Jurevicius for 6. So he looked left and then found Jurevicius to the right. Jurevicius certainly has specialized on picking up crucial 3rd down conversions. He's done it twice already on this drive.
Yeah, he has. He's like another tight end. Joe Jurevicius is every bit of 6'5". Look at that. He just goes down. The linebacker, I think it's James Ferrier, he just bumps him right out of the way because he's so big. Joe Jurevicius, Kellen Winslow, Braylon Edwards, and then Derek Anderson. It's got to be the tallest group of skilled guys in the NFL.
Edwards to the far side. It's a first down carry for Lewis. And manages to shuffle the feet for 2. So they got the 14th play of the drive coming up next. And there's Mike Tomlin. You had a chance to visit with the coach on Friday. You could not have been more impressed.
I was impressed, and he made a point. One of his first comments to us was just, hey, this Cleveland game, you know, that first game, we just jumped out on them and got a little fortunate. They're good, and he went through all the reasons why. And it wasn't coach talk. He was scared about this offense, what it can do to his defense.
It's a 2nd down and 8 for the Browns from the 12. Flags are down, and Anderson just throws it out of bounds.
Well, the Browns got an illegal formation. Both wide receivers were on the line of scrimmage to the left, which they should definitely know is.
Ron Winter will govern.
Illegal formation. Number 80 was on the line of scrimmage and was covered by a wide receiver. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Well, it's coming. Both receivers down here at the bottom. They're both on the line of scrimmage, which is illegal. One has to be off either the outside or the inside.
Winslow trying to get.
Yeah, he knows.
Adjusted.
I saw him making the hand signals to Derek Anderson, but his wide receiver mates didn't get the message.
2nd down and 13 now. Push back to the 18. Anderson. He's going to take off with it. And he splits the defenders, gets near the 10. It'll be a 3rd and about 6 on the way. Right between Larry Foote and Clark Higgins he fell, but gained 6.
That's something he did very well last week. He ran with the football. You're the quarterback. You look at the receivers down here, and I know it's, oh boy, maybe if he'd have looked to the middle of the field, Joe Jurevicius was open. I originally said nobody was open, but Joe Jurevicius down the middle. But Derek Anderson, a knock against him coming out of the college, is he athletic enough? He has moved around very well in his short tenure as an NFL starting quarterback.
This is the 15th play of the drive, which makes it the longest drive by the Browns since December 2005. 3rd and 7. And they'll be close to another, they'll have it with Jason Wright. So they're putting together their longest drive in almost 2 full years.
Well, you are quick with the calls. They got it. But it's Derek Anderson knows the situation. Watch, he's looking down the field. He's dying to throw it down there deep. Tried a little pump fake. It didn't work. But by holding on to the football, good pass protection, what's the defense going to do? They're going to keep dropping back. That allowed Derek Anderson a chance to throw it short and then pick up the first down.
It's a 1st and goal to go. Roethlisberger's been sitting this out for quite a while after 3 early plays and a punt. From the 4, they fake to Lewis. Toss, touchdown, Cleveland. Kellen Winslow.
Well, that was Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator for the Browns. That was a terrific call. When you want to throw the play-action pass, do it on first. Good acting by Kellen Winslow. It gets James Harrison, who has the outside. You're expecting run on 1st down inside the 5 if you're a defensive player. That's when you want to throw it. Easy touchdown for the Browns there.
Well, this is their 4th road game of the year. It's the first time on the road this year they've scored a first quarter touchdown.
Want to get rid of those slow starts. They did it today.
Dawson adds the extra point. Winslow with the touchdown from Anderson. 7-0 Browns. Well, that took almost 9 minutes with a textbook drive by Cleveland to start things here. 16 plays, longest of the season, again, longest since 2005. And the 8:55 on the clock, longest of the season. Allen Rossum has to step up to the 5 this time. Threatened to work middle, goes left, has room. And Thompson knocks him down. So they converted 4 for 4 on 3rd down, including the touchdown. Well, that was a goal to go first down, but Winslow with the starring touchdown. And that Cleveland offensive line.
Biggest reason.
Yep.
Biggest reason for the turnaround this team to me is the offensive line, Jim.
Jim Nance, Phil Simms here in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers' second possession of the game. And Roethlisberger straight throw. To Ward, diving catch. They give it to him. What an effort it was by Hines Ward. Working on Eric Wright. Goes for 15.
Boy, good job by Hines Ward. Secures the catch. Hits the ground inbound, so that is a... And when you're going to the ground, you got to hold that ball and basically get up and hand it to the official.
Got to go to the ground and hold on to it all the way through. And he did. So from the 47 of Cleveland, Roethlisberger goes out of the pocket, hits Willie Parker here on his birthday. Parker picks up 3 yards. We've got an update. We send it back to New York. James Brown, take it away.
Hey, Jim and Phil. Quinn Gray, the quarterback for Jacksonville, trying to find a groove, capping a 13-play, 80-yard drive with that 2-yard strike to Greg Jones. Fred Taylor, over 10,000 yards rushing for his career on that drive. Jacksonville up 7-0 over Tennessee. Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
All right, JB. David Garrard had been, well, many thought would be back in the lineup this week, but they set him down inactive today, and the Jags drive it down the field and score at Tennessee. Here we go on 2nd down and 7 with Parker in the pile and breaking out. Parker taken off inside the 20 and brought down by Sean Jones at the 14. Looked like he had been stacked up. He just kind of rode the pile for a while, then takes it 31 yards.
Well, it was stacked up, but the problem is no defender for the Cleveland Browns can get off the block. And then finally, Willie Parker says, wow, there's some space. Look at that, the blocking, everybody stuck to the defender for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That allows Willie Parker, who's always worried about the field here in Pittsburgh, fast field, fast Willie Parker takes advantage.
Matt Spaeth with a huge block, the rookie tight end. Here's Parker again. This time able to hold on to him after a run of 3. I mentioned earlier Parker had a 200-yard performance. It was last December the 7th against Cleveland. 32 rushes, 223 yards, a Steelers franchise record, and a touchdown. So that was last year on December 7th, and here we are on the Veterans Day weekend, and Parker setting up the Steelers at the 10-yard line. Najee Davenport has come in. 2nd and 7. Roethlisberger throws and over the head of Terry Davis. You know, Roethlisberger worked out this offseason. It's such a different story than what he had going into 06 after that awful accident he suffered, and certainly it's all paid off looking at the way he's been throwing the football this year.
Well, maturity, 4th year in the league, that helps. And Jim, you learn so much. He's become a better thrower. He knows how to take care of his body, and as he says, this late in the year, he's still got that pop in your arm that you have during the summer. So experience is just the biggest factor why he's playing so well.
Got 4 wideouts in on 3rd and 7. And he looks back to the end zone. What a play. Tipped away by Eric Wright, the rookie from UNLV. Looked like Hines Ward was right there.
He had him. And Eric Wright just made a tremendous play. As you're going to watch, he's going to be to the right of your screen, and he's got two guys to cover. And Ben Roethlisberger tries to look it off, but Eric Wright reacts to the football in the air and makes a very good play.
You know, the Steelers have been so efficient at finishing off drives that really it's left Jeff Reed with little to do in recent weeks. Only had a couple of field goals in the last 5 games. Just no attempts. Very few to speak of. This from 28 yards, and Jeff Reed delivers. So the Steelers come up with 3. Set up by the long run by Willie Parker. 7-3 Browns. It is back with the renewed Cleveland Browns rekindling this rivalry that began back in 1950. It's the first time they met right here in Pittsburgh. Cleveland went on to win the NFL championship that year over the Rams. Cleveland won the first 8 games of the series. Pittsburgh has won the last 8.
I followed this rivalry when I was a kid. I remember watching Jim Brown and when they played the Steelers. Oh my gosh, it was great Sunday afternoon.
Last 2 postseason appearances by Cleveland. They've ended up in the playoffs facing the Steelers, losing both times. Look at Cribbs taking off at the 30, at the 40. Cribbs setting up Cleveland now. Deep in Pittsburgh territory. It's still going. All the way to the 4-yard line. And no flags.
No flags is right. The little things, Jim. We talked about it in the opening. You play Monday night. Emotionally, you beat this team 34-7. And where does it show up a lot of times? Special teams. Because that's where you got to do a lot of the dirty work. And what a job by Cribbs. Breaking tackles, but the blocking is what sets him free to get by the tacklers as he goes down the field.
89 yards. Allen Rossum thought he had him, but was unable to hold on. Finally, Anthony Madison stopped him, but not until he got all the way to the 2. Make it the 3. First and goal for the Browns. Flags as Lewis takes it in, but we'll check the flag.
Oh, boy.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 17 offense, a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
They're going to give Cribbs 90 yards officially on the return. He had a touchdown last year in a game against Pittsburgh. At the game at Cleveland, he went 92 yards. Had a 99-yarder earlier this year against Oakland.
Couldn't quite see it. Braylon Edwards, top of your screen, moved before the snap of the ball. And, you know, Jim, I went, oh, no, because that is such a huge mistake. Inside the 5 on first down, everything is in play. As an ex-player and as a quarterback, I used to hate it. First and goal from the 8 or 9 yard line because it puts you in between. Do we try to run it or do we go ahead and throw it all 3 downs to try to score?
And try to run it with Lewis. Kyle driving back to the original line of scrimmage. A nice run of 5. He pushed back Anthony Smith. It'll be second and goal from about the 3.
Well, you said it. It's pile driving. Jamal Lewis.
Oh, look at him take out Smith.
He just knocked him back. He's a pulling guard who's got, you know, the ability to run around you and run over you. He's so big, and that run was good. Now Cleveland has a run-pass option.
Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. Cleveland threatening to go in for the second time, and it's Lewis. Got about halfway there. This time Smith was able to make the tackle. We do have a flag down.
Fourth from the right corner. Turn it over the cliff. I don't care.
Something must have happened when the players were on the ground. That's what I'm guessing.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, defense number 27. Penalized half the distance to the goal, and a first down.
Wow, that's a big one. It's Anthony Smith, who had been really run over on the previous play, made the hit on this one, and then flagged for taunting.
Watch him as he gets up. Oh, the old step over. Let me step over you there. That's a common ploy by defenders, and it was caught that time by the officials.
Well, set up inside the 1 now. This was all Jamal Lewis last week. Would expect it again. Here he is. And Pittsburgh expected it as well. That'll end. That's Smith coming up to make the hit this time. That's the end of the quarter. 7-3 Cleveland. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're back in Pittsburgh. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms, and Cleveland put together a 8-minute and 55-second touchdown drive in the opening quarter, and they're going to start this quarter with a 2nd and goal from the 2. Set up by Cribbs' 90-yard kick return following a Jeff Reed field goal. Aaron Smith wanting a little assist. They fake, they throw, they have another touchdown. It's Vickers, touchdown Browns.
Well, Jim, I tell you what, that was clever too. They bring Steve Hyden in motion, and he gets right behind the guards. I said, oh, they're going to run it, try to power run it to the right. And it's a fake, and Vickers just slips right past the oncoming linebacker by the Steelers, and he's wide open in the flat. And they always say inside the 5-yard line or inside in the red area, if you can't run it in, you got to be deceptive. And that was a deceptive play by the Cleveland Browns.
Very similar play to the touchdown scored by Vickers in week 1. The only touchdown by the Browns against the Steelers week 1 was a 1-yard toss to Lawrence Vickers. This time it covers 2 yards. And Cleveland surprising the Steelers at 14-3. We're back here in Pittsburgh with Cleveland set up by the long kick return. Derek Anderson's last 2 passes gone for touchdowns. He's up to 19 on the season. That's the most by a Browns quarterback since Bernie Kosar back in '87. It's Davenport. And he runs back to the 29, an 11-yard return. That's it. This was Cribbs making a miss. Anderson making him pay. Pittsburgh has it for the 3rd time in this game. 3 and out, and then down the field for a Reed field goal. We're down 14-3. Roethlisberger hands it to Parker. He runs into Ethan Kelly after a gain of about 3. You can get a head start on your holiday shopping with great deals on officially licensed NFL team apparel and collectibles at the CBS Sports Store. Check it out today when you click on Shop at CBSSports.com. And Mike Tomlin, the 2nd youngest coach in the league. Only Lane Kiffin for the Raiders younger. And they've won all 4 of their home games by wide margins. They're down 11 early. 3 receivers in on 2nd down and 7. Straight back, Roethlisberger over to Washington. And that'll be enough for the first. Nate Washington coming off his first multi-touchdown game of his career. Had a couple of scores against the Ravens on Monday night and picks up 11.
The Steelers over the years, for the last 20 years, they have been one of the best teams in the NFL when it just comes to picking up blitzes by the opponent. And they were ready for it. Ben Roethlisberger just nonchalantly throws it to the outside. And that's where you're going to have to throw a lot of footballs against this Cleveland defense. They're going to try to stop the run. They want you to throw it outside the numbers. Pittsburgh's been good at that too.
Going to run it, middle. Parker, decked after 2.
Parker. You know, Jimmy, you look at this game and you think, well, the Steelers, they played so well. But no matter what you tell your team, we heard it Friday at the Steeler complex. We can't take them lightly. This is a different Cleveland team than we've played before. It was 34-7. And it's just hard to convince yourself. Well, I think they're convinced now that it's going to take their best to beat the Cleveland Browns today.
Back to 3 receivers in the game. Washington the extra one. 2nd down and 8. They have some zip on it, and in and out of the arms of Hines Ward. You know, Ben Roethlisberger, Phil, is not 100%. He got badly bruised in that game against Baltimore on Monday night.
Yeah, he did. His right hip made one of the best throws on the run I've seen in a long time. And he hurt his right hip, Jim, and he thought he might wear a pad on that hip today, but I did not notice it when I've seen him out there in the field, so it must be feeling well enough. But we saw him on Friday. He said, hey, I'm still really sore. And it was a cause for concern.
3rd and 8. Now he'll come out of the pocket and take off, and has the first. Slides into Cleveland territory. Big Ben for 9 yards and a first.
I would say for every, oh, look at Romeo Cornell. He is beside himself talking to his defensive coaches. Keep him in the pocket. And usually he goes sideways. Very seldom do you see Ben Roethlisberger scramble straight ahead. And that time, look at everybody sliding on that right hip too, Jim.
Yeah,
so
right on it.
Must be feeling better. Of course, that turf is pretty soft.
The Cleveland 47. Great play action fake. Roethlisberger down the field, and he has Miller as tight end. That was some play action. Throws the defense, picks up 21.
Heath Miller's coming this way. Santonio Holmes is going here. Ben Roethlisberger just waits. Protection, first down, play action. Oh, look at that. The hole opens up to his left. He waits for Heath Miller, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, next to the New England Patriots, throw the football in the air farther than any team in the league besides New England.
Parker has to go sideways in a hurry. And Eric Wright is there to meet him. But Parker able to squeeze out 3 yards. We got an update on the Eagles and the Redskins, JB.
Hey, Jim and Phil. Donovan McNabb is beating the Redskins 7 of the last time. Skins trying to come back. Campbell hooking up there with James Thrash, 4-yard strike. They missed the point after. Hey, Jim, first touchdown by a Redskins wideout this season. Eagles nursing a 1-point lead. Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
All right, JB, thank you. You can tell it's going to be a busy day here with the updates coming in from Studio 43 in New York. We thank you for that. 2nd down and 7 for the Steelers. Down 14-3.
Roethlisberger changing the protection.
Giving it to Parker. And it'll be 3rd and short coming up. That was Brodney Poole finishing him off. Picked up 6. Leon Williams also on the tackle.
Jim, you just saw something. Ben Roethlisberger making a check. Sometimes they have 2 plays, and he calls out the one they want to run. Bruce Arians, offensive coordinator, on the sideline, talks directly to Ben Roethlisberger. It's cut the communication down. It gives him more time to get to the line of scrimmage and change plays, pass protections, whatever he needs. And he said it's been a tremendous help to the quarterback this year.
3rd and a long yard. They give it to Davenport. Davenport is not going to get there.
Davenport, the ball carrier.
Stuffing for no gain. And they immediately call on Reed in the field goal unit.
Yeah, this is the call. This time of the game, over 9 minutes ago, even the crowd couldn't even give it they couldn't even get their heart in it to boo much.
There was a little ripple.
But why do you kick the field goal? Cleveland last week had some big stops against Seattle in a 4th down and 1. It had a big reason why they won the game. Because you kick the field goal, you get it down to 1 score.
Good from 28 in the first quarter. This is a 35-yard attempt for Jeff Reed. 11 of 12 on the season, making 12 out of 13. 2 red zone trips, though, for the Steelers, both resulting in field goals. 14-6 Cleveland, 2nd quarter. It'll be interesting to see what Cribbs can manage this time. Cribbs, when he was at Kent State, was the runner-up in the Mid-American Conference Freshman of the Year to Ben Roethlisberger, and they short kick it. And not going to fool with him again. Darnell Dinkins was the one who fielded it. As you look at the Steel City. The Pittsburgh throng anxious to see the steel curtain.
Fans are trying to wake up for Monday night.
Trying to encourage this defense to make a stand. Anderson's coming out throwing. Wanted to go long. Dumps it underneath to Lewis. Had a little stiff arm going with James Ferrier. Picks up 6. You know, Derek Anderson, he can go long, but he had that first drive where he hit Winslow on a number of occasions, including the touchdown.
Yeah, you know, and Jim, and you know, we laugh because when we talked to him last night, probably one of the reasons why he went late in the draft was interceptions, because he threw it down the field too much in college. He's adjusted here in the pros. He says, I'm getting better at it. Well, look at the Steelers. They're giving him the short passes. They're taking them so far, and it's working.
It's Lewis on 2nd and 4. He's got the first. Anderson has completed his last 8 throws, and you're talking about his draft position. And Phil, people may not realize this, you really study the college game, not only on Saturdays actively live, but during the week. And you saw a lot of talent in Derek Anderson when he was playing at Oregon State.
Well, you know, a couple things. Hey, Jim, did I think he would be this good in the NFL? Of course not. I didn't watch him that much. I knew he was 6'6", pretty good athlete, and I loved the way he threw the football. And he was coached by Mike Riley, who was in the NFL, who was trying to tell everybody, hey, this guy's pretty good. But he had a bad junior year, and of course, we know how it goes. You've got to play good all 4 years in the NFL now.
On first down, he's going down the sidelines, throwing it away in the area of Winslow.
Of course, you know I'm saying that a little sarcastic.
What happened with him at Baltimore? After being drafted there, I know they...
He was on the practice squad, and they tried to activate him and put him on the active roster. And when you have to go through waivers when you do that. And when you do it, well, the Cleveland Browns...
Phil Savage?
Sitting right there says, I think we'll have him. And it was a tremendous pickup for the Cleveland Browns. And believe me, I heard his name everywhere during the preseason. A lot of teams were looking at him. If he'd have got released, they were going to bring him in right away, and he probably would have started at a few places. 2nd
and 10. And the Steelers snuffed that one out with Aaron Smith collapsing on Lewis right away, holding him to only a yard. Midway second quarter. Jim Nantz with Phil Simms here in Pittsburgh, and a 3rd and 9 for Cleveland coming up.
Yeah, this is the last thing you want. You always hear this when you do a Steeler game, but this is when they get creative, when everybody can walk around. And Troy Polamalu, what could he do? Could he blitz? And it just makes it tough because you got to hold the ball a while if you want to get a first down.
Need to get to the Pittsburgh 49 for the first. Anderson veers back and trying to hit Edwards, and just a little too high with McFadden on the coverage. Edwards has not caught a ball in this first half.
Yeah, they're trying to make him throw the ball short and inside, but here's why the football's high. James Harrison gets just enough depth where Derek Anderson has to throw it over the top to be safe, and it's too high for Braylon Edwards to catch.
So the first stop of the day for the Steeler defense. Dave Zastudil is in. He's had some back issues this season, has Zastudil. He's inactive for 4 of the first 5 games. They punt it away to Allen Watson. You see standing back there at the 15, and flags will bring this one to a screeching halt.
False start. Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
You know, I was going to say, well, this is about field position, but Jim, we've done so many games, it doesn't matter anymore. These punters, when they want to throw one out there for 60 yards, they seem to do it with ease and a lot of consistency. Either that or we just bring the best out of them, because every game we do, they are booming them.
Yeah. Falls to the ground, no flag, and well covered. It's Mike Adams with the instant hit, 48-yard punt. The Steelers are going to come out in a shotgun on first down. Now Roethlisberger adjust under center from the 13 with 6.5 to go, second quarter. Ball is it intercepted? It is. It's picked off by Rodney Poole. Poole steps up and makes the pick of Roethlisberger.
Rodney Poole watches Ben Roethlisberger, sees the route. Anytime a quarterback fakes left, moves to his right a little, you're going to usually see a receiver go across the field. Perfect timing, and then the talent to make the catch. He wants to throw to Hines Ward deep to the right, doesn't like it, comes back to a second receiver. Aggressive play by Rodney Poole, gets the interception.
Rodney Poole in his third year out of Oklahoma with his first interception on the season. Setting up the Browns in the red zone at the 18.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger comes off of Hines Ward, probably a little too quick. He was open deep along the right sideline. Would have been a good throw. Thought that would be easy, throwing a short one across the middle.
Big Ben's first interception at home in the last 4 games. And that's Lewis. A good running start with a head of steam. Did he fumble? It's recovered by the Browns. It's like Hank Fraley recovered. He's a Pittsburgh area guy out of Robert Morris.
Well, the Steeler defense, Jamal Lewis.
Boy,
it comes out.
It's James Harrison forcing the fumble.
James Harrison
just like he did Monday night.
From the backside. You know, Jim, he's just so fast and built so low to the ground, hard to block.
He forced 3 fumbles. The Ravens had 3.5 sacks, a recovery, and a pick. And a timeout called by the Browns. Well, Anderson and the Browns take the timeout here. The quarterbacks to this point, Anderson with a couple of touchdown tosses, one to Winslow, one to Vickers. Roethlisberger intercepted now, setting up Cleveland inside the 20. Got a second down and 8 coming up. What a fake. Anderson rocked it toward the back of the end zone and over the head of Edwards.
What a fake. Even sometimes when you fool this Steeler defense, they got so many good athletes. They recovered, but that time nobody fooled. Joe Jaravicius. Watch this. Joe Jaravicius is going to come underneath. So they're trying to sneak him across the field. Look at the attention he gets. Derek Anderson says, well, let me go to Braylon Edwards, top of the screen. He's well covered too.
Big Ben grimacing, hoping his defense can hold him here. Third down and 8. Out to Edwards, a diving attempt, but he's out of bounds. What a catch. But did not have to get down. A little jawing with Ike Taylor.
Well, it was excellent coverage by Ike Taylor on the outside. And the only thing, and the only place that Derek Anderson can throw it is outside and away. Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, that's
pretty
close.
I'm telling you.
He does get his toes.
Got one in, I know that.
Oh, he might have got them both in.
Yeah,
that's such a big play.
And he's going to throw the flag.
Oh, he's got it.
Romeo's running out there. His field goal unit's ready to snap it. Romeo's halfway out of the field.
Romeo, he's been more animated today, and I've seen him since I've known him.
I think he was
about 1979.
His whole team was out there about to go ahead and try the field goal.
Cleveland is challenger ruling on the field, but the pass is incomplete.
Here's a good view. Question is, the right foot, did a toe touch before the paints? All right, Romeo smiling and
catching his breath,
a little winded. Well, here's the point right here.
Oh, look at that! Is awesome. That is the toe mark.
If that's it right there.
That's it. Yeah, oh, he's going to circle it. But watch the feet. The right foot's the one in question. That's a good shot. You can see it's inside the white. The left foot is definitely dragging.
Looks like a touchdown.
It's so close that that's the only thing that can stop it.
Well, you can see that. You can still see the pitch mark, the divot. Yeah. Oh, hey guys, don't kick it.
Throw it.
Hey.
Throw it. There you go. You know, that's what you do to the quarterback. Throw it. Come up to him. So finally he lets it go.
I thought the last replay, you really could see the imprint from the right toe. It really did take out a little chunk of the turf.
There it is. Look at that. Ooh. That chunk have any white in it, Jim?
Circled for us here, Phil. Did you see right?
Okay. Well, it's hard
no
to
question
do it
about the left foot.
The left foot's definitely in. It's the right foot. There it is. It looks like it's in.
After review, with possession of the ball, the receiver got 2 feet inbounds, held onto the ball throughout the process of completing the catch. Therefore, it is a touchdown.
Look at Braylon Edwards.
Cleveland is not charged with a team timeout.
Touchdown, Cleveland.
You know, Jim, and it's so, a lot of times you never know what the officials are going to see when they go into it. That was so close. If he'd said not enough evidence to overturn, I'd go, okay, I can understand that. But
and look at that, his 10th receiving touchdown of the season. You have to go back to 69 when the Browns had both Gary Collins and Paul Warfield catch that many touchdowns. They've had a touchdown set up by special teams, another touchdown set up by the defense, another magnificent drive by the offense. 3 touchdown passes by Anderson. Romeo with a well-timed challenge flag leaps to the touchdown. I tell you, it was one of the great reactions seeing Braylon Edwards when Ron Winter announced that was going to in fact be a touchdown.
Well, you know, Jim, after you saw his reaction when they overruled it, he jumped and everything. You go, well, now you understand how he's athletic enough to make this catch and get his feet down.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for throwing out the red flag.
Coach is saying no, thank you.
Edwards' first catch of the game goes for a touchdown.
Well, the pace of this game is going to change now. Pittsburgh will have to up-tempo a little more.
Good kick to the 17 for Watson. Stumbles to the 30. That's it. 13-yard run back.
Trying to run it to start this game. Cleveland's defense last in the NFL against the pass.
Bringing Nate Washington as a third receiver. 5:20 to go in the quarter. Quick toss, Hines Ward. Ward twisted down by Lee Bodden with a flag to follow. Only a yard.
Well, good safe play, trying to get some rhythm to the offense, but holding against Pittsburgh.
During the run, illegal block in the back. Offense number 83. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
83 is Heath Miller, the tight end, trying to come outside. Here he is in the middle of your screen. Misses the block. Defender gets by him, then he pushes him from behind. That's a good call. I know you say, well, that doesn't seem like much. Well, when it prevents a defensive player from making a play, especially when he's in position to get it done, you got to throw the flag.
First and 20 now, back at the 21. Go run. Parker does a good job of missing the first hit, and another flag, and it might be on Hines Ward. Sean Jones bumps him out after a 10-yard gain. Parker with a nifty move to get outside away from Wembley.
during the run. Holding. Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Hines was protesting right away.
Hines Ward, maybe, right there in the middle of your screen again. Got his hands outside the shoulders, on the outside, and you can see him grab the jersey. You can hold him inside most of the time. They'll let you get away with that. But Hines Ward probably the best blocking wide receiver in the NFL.
They mark off the penalty from the point of the infraction. So it's still 1st and 20.
How about Willie Parker that last time? Going sideways, still fast enough to get around the corner and pick up 10 yards.
10-yard run, but a 10-yard penalty, and they get to replay the down. Pittsburgh has Santonio Holmes. Holmes' first catch of the game. Holmes coming off a 2-touchdown performance on Monday night. Gained 7. This is starting to remind you a little bit of the 2002 wild card game that was here between these two. The Browns actually led 24-7 in that one before Pittsburgh came back to win it.
You know, too, I think it's a tough task for this Browns defense to be able to hang in against this Steeler offense. They can pass protect. Roethlisberger's throwing it well. They can run for big plays.
Run it to Parker. And Wright able to hold his ground and keeps it to a 4-yard gain. 3rd and long on the way. Next week, another regional week of action on CBS. The game going to most of the country will be the Pittsburgh at Jets game, 4:05 Eastern. Many will see, though, Kansas City against Indianapolis, plus other regional action, plus the NFL Today. Starts it all off at noon next Sunday on the NFL Today. 3rd and 9 it'll be. Steelers have to get to the 41 for the first. The 2 big penalties on this series. Roethlisberger well protected. He's got Ward who has the first down. Hines hanging out right where he needed to be. Enough for the first, plus a couple extra yards. Gains 12.
To say Ben Roethlisberger is getting good protection, that doesn't do it justice. There is nobody around him. Steps into the throw and drives it into Hines Ward to get a first down. Defense playing safe. Look at that. Nobody in his throwing lane. Perfect spiral. And
it's not like the Browns manage a lot of pass rush anyway. Their defensive line has a total of only 2 sacks on the season. The defensive line, 7 for the team. Here's Roethlisberger, and the ball comes out. Trying to hit Nate Washington.
Well, Jim, it is a 3-4 defense, so it is about linebackers getting sacks, the same as Pittsburgh. They get most of their sacks from some secondary people, but and their linebackers too. But the Browns, it's just when you watch them, they put no pressure on the quarterback, and even the worst throwers in the NFL, if you give them time and space, they'll do a pretty good job against you.
2:14 to go, second quarter. 21-6 Browns.
And yes, there are some bad throwers in this league.
Don't happen to have any here today. Able to get that one away. Just when we talked about the lack of pressure, Sean Jones came blitzing in.
Well, yeah.
Roethlisberger does such a good job of being able to kind of just, with his physical talents and strength, just be able to somehow avoid all of that.
Very good in the pocket. That's what you do. You know, you talk about pressure, but how they do it, they brought a safety up the middle. They're not a big blitzing team, but you got to take your shots every now and then and keep the Steelers offense off balance. Even though you're up, don't sit back and play it safe all the time. You just let the Steelers get back in the game.
3rd and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Throw, it's to Washington for the first down.
Roethlisberger's pass.
Big Ben got it away just in time as Wembley was providing some blindside pressure.
Yeah, he was. Only 3 rushers that time. And when you have 8 defenders back there, you want to go, well, how can he be so wide open to the outside? There's a reason why they struggle on defense.
It goes for 17. We've reached the 2-minute warning. And coming up, we've got the Sprint halftime report. JP, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Latest scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Well, I saw Coach Cowher Monday night here as they were honored some of the old Steelers. I've never seen him smile so much on the field.
He was having a good time.
Yeah, it's easy to have a good time when you're not worried about your players.
First down with all 3 timeouts in the bag for Pittsburgh from the Cleveland 40. Parker, and he lost his footing. Wasn't even hit. Down at the 33.
Well, this Steeler field, Heinz Field, it has a personality of its own. And it's just part of the landscape. It's pretty good today. But you see some divots, and Willie Parker is such a fast guy and sharp cutter. I mean, he's truly one of the fastest running backs in the league. Oh, it got a little, just that left foot just dug right in the ground and couldn't recover.
He wants it dry and fast.
I don't blame him.
Second down, we'll call it 3 with Davenport trying to get to the outside, and he's going to get the first down. And get out of bounds. Broke away from Willie McGinnis.
Najee Davenport, he is a good compliment to Willie Parker. He's so big. And I thought when he was in Green Bay, along with Ahman Green, they were the best 1-2 punch in the league and running. And it's been a good pickup when he comes in. His power and his size serves the Steelers offense very well.
Davenport for 7, sets up Pittsburgh at the 26. Fake to Davenport. Roethlisberger has Miller at the 9-yard line. Looking to the sideline. Should we take the timeout? They do. With 1:04 to go in the half. Much needed drive for the Steelers before the intermission.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, patient, actually has a couple hitches this time. Let me. And look at the opening down the field. Heath Miller wide open. Again, when a quarterback gets so much time, the defense just slowly unwinds and disintegrates. And that time, Heath Miller wide open over the middle.
First and goal to go from the 9. 4 receivers all in tight. The shovel pass to Ward, and it's good for only 3. Maybe 4. And now another Pittsburgh timeout. Not sure why there was a need for a timeout here, but 57 seconds to go in the half.
But
I was talking to you in the break here, Phil. That's not a time management timeout, more of a strategic management.
Absolutely. You know, it's not about rhythm once you get inside the 10. It's about a series of plays. So now you map out what you're going to do on both of these plays, and I think it was a pretty good timeout, Jim.
So it's second and goal, just outside the 5. Roethlisberger's pass to Heinz Ward.
Thought he caught it.
So did I, but it's incomplete.
Well, it's a blitz by Cleveland, and Heinz Ward's running the fade from the inside. If he throws it outside, it's a touchdown. But Heinz Ward did not come back and complain. That's me. Oh, yeah, well, there, it's wide.
From our angle, we couldn't see the ball drop out from up here in the booth.
And Ben Roethlisberger, it was a good throw, but a perfect throw would have been more to the outside. Heinz Ward would have ran right to the football and caught the touchdown.
So now a third and goal. Roethlisberger looks right now. He's in trouble, and he is knocked down.
Well, this is how you win if you're the Cleveland Browns. You win by holding them to field goals.
Antoine Peak comes in on the quarterback.
Yeah, he's in for Jackson at linebacker, and a good job, just keeps hustling. And when you play a mobile quarterback, that's what you got to do. Keep working. Nobody open. They double cover Heinz Ward. Good job by the Cleveland Brown defense inside the 10-yard line.
That's the first sack by the Browns defense in the last 77 opponent pass plays. So they have to bring out Reed for the 3rd time. This one, just a 30-yard attempt. Sepulveda on the hold. And for the 3rd time today, Reed is dead center. With 4 seconds to go in the half. Cleveland holds them to 3, though. 21-9 Browns. Well, there's a Pittsburgh influence coming up on the Sprint halftime report. The old Panther Dan Marino, and you mentioned Bill Cowher is here on Monday night celebrating the 75-year rich history of the Steelers. He was here.
There you go.
Having a good time. Mixing it up with his old guys.
I tell you, boy, he was roughing up a few players.
They're roughing him up too. Casey Hampton.
Oh, it's great stuff.
James Ferrier.
Hey, shoot, they should be happy to see the old coach. You know, he won a lot of games for him, and that thing they wear on their hand, that Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, that little ring.
Yeah, I think he had a lot to do with that, too.
I would think so.
Can't win in this league without good coaching. Players can't overcome the coach if he doesn't do his job.
We're all coming up on the NFL today. A squib kick by Reed. And Wisely just fallen on by Dinkins, who for the second time in this game has fielded a kick.
Well, the big return for the Cleveland Browns, and probably the story of the first half is, Jim, just holding Pittsburgh's offense to field goal attempts. Then the interception. So the Cleveland Browns have made the big plays.
They're the story. Derek Anderson with 3 touchdown passes, giving him now 20 on the season.
Numbers of quarterbacks are putting up in this league right now are incredible. Romeo Crennel with a timely challenge.
So just take the knee to end it here. Big first half for the Browns. That's the end of the first half with the score. Cleveland 21, Pittsburgh 9. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Trips into the red zone for each side, resulting in 3 field goals for Pittsburgh, but 3 touchdown passes for Derek Anderson, and Cleveland's leading it here 21-9. How big a surprise is this to you, Phil?
Well, what was the first things we talked about is the emotions that the Steelers, what they used in a physical game on Monday night. Can they recover? They did in the first half, but as I look at this second half, Jim, I'd say to Cleveland, you better keep going, because I think this Pittsburgh's offense is going to score some points.
I know you think this is going to be a wild second half. And there you see it, the red zone difference. Of course, the one drive was such a short one, set up by the 90-yard kick return by Cribbs.
Well, that, Jim, and the interception. Cleveland is a team that doesn't have all the components yet, so they got to make big plays to make it happen. They did that in the first half.
And a reminder, this game brought to you in high definition here on CBS. And it's sprinkling a bit here now. A little mist in the air. There's some predictions out there, forecast for it to get a little heavier in the afternoon. Again, you're not going to deal with Cribbs. You're going to kick it short. And another handle by Dinkins, the third-team tight end, takes it to the 35. Well, the scoring, first up, it was Anderson to Winslow. Then Reed with a field goal for the Steelers. Kicked it, though, to Cribbs. Set up a Vickers touchdown catch. And then Reed again from 35. The grab by Edwards, which was ruled at first out of bounds on the field. Romeo challenged it. Overturned, leading to the touchdown. And then a Reed field goal as the Browns kept them out of the end zone before the half. Lewis, traffic right away, only picks up a yard. It's been a while since the Cleveland offense has been on the field. You think about that last drive, other than the kneel down before the half. Cleveland Browns week 1, they were sacked 6 times, and so far, not today at all. 5 turnovers also. Of course, Charlie Fry had started that game and was replaced by Derek Anderson in the middle of it.
Well, I watched that game, Jim. When you watch it, when Derek Anderson came in and relieved Charlie Fry, the makeup of the game changed. All of a sudden, the quarterback got rid of it. They had some chances. They made a few plays.
2nd down and 9. And almost getting there in time was Polamalu to make the pick, but certainly there in time to break it up. Intended for Winslow.
Tell you what, it's a good thing that Derek Anderson has a strong arm, because Troy Polamalu sees him look to his right and look at the speed to go over and break the pass up. If that football hangs in the air at all, he would have gone in front and got the interception.
Pittsburgh trying to force a 3-and-out to open up the third. Winslow without a catch since his touchdown on the first drive. Had 3 catches on that opening series. Anderson's pass knocked down. Incomplete. Brett Kiesel knocking it down.
Well, it goes to show you, you got to throw around defenders. You can't throw over them. Derek Anderson, 6'6", with a good high release. And Brett Kiesel, when these defensive players raise their arms, well, you got to find a new way or a new angle or a new avenue to get rid of it.
Zastudil punted only once in that first half. It traveled 48 yards, and it was well covered down the field by the special teams unit of the Browns. Mike Adams got down there last time. There's another good one to the 15. And Rossum able to spin out of it. Here's Adams to meet him at the 36-yard line. And no flags, but a little scuffle. 49-yard punt, 22-yard run back. Here comes Ben. Jim Nance and Phil Simms and the CBS crew on hand here in Pittsburgh. Director Mike Arnold. And our coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS, Lance Barrow, manning the way in the truck. Pittsburgh allowed only 26 points in its first 4 home games this year, but already 21 posted by the Browns today. This Pittsburgh defense comes out with a 3-and-out, and we see now the Steelers offense with its first handle of the second half. And that is Willie Parker near the 40 for about 3.
Well, Jim, the Steelers are losing his first half. They're down because Cleveland's defense stopped them 3 times on crucial third down plays where they're going in to score. Knockdown pass, short run, and then sacking Ben Roethlisberger on 3rd and goal from about the 4 or 5 yard line. So the defense, it's been opportunistic, doing it when it counts on 3rd downs.
2 running plays to start the half, and this one maybe backs him up a yard. We'll give him no gain. You saw Roethlisberger's passer rating, 53. Of course, 158.3 is the perfect rating, and that's what he had on Monday night. A perfect game. And it's the second time he's done it in 24 home games. Pretty good little ratio there. 2 out of 24 times. Home starts. Perfect.
See the rain, and that, you know, it tells me that he's pretty good and playing with some pretty good guys around him. That's what it takes.
3rd and 7. Trying to avoid a 3-and-out of their own. Going for the long ball, looking for Holmes, batted down, and no flag.
Yeah, the rain, the moisture, that got Ben Roethlisberger that time, and does a good job. It's a blitz, and down the field, Santonio Holmes, he's by him. Ben Roethlisberger probably throws it about 10 yards shorter than he wants to, and you can see the football is wobbling as it comes down.
The rookie from Memphis, Brandon McDonald, defending on that one, knocking it down. Sends out Sepulveda. Sends a spiral down to the 19. Cribbs shakes off 1, shakes off 2. Ridden down with the 3rd by Davenport. 42-yard boot, 6-yard return. Anderson with the 21-9 lead sends Cleveland's offense to the field. The rain is intensifying here at Heinz Field. And Cleveland begins this drive from the 25. They go underneath, and Higgins rides down Lewis. Give him only a yard. The Browns should know that the double-digit lead isn't safe because they've overcome big deficits the last 2 games, 14 and 15-point deficits coming back to win.
That's good. Down the field where they like to throw it. The coverage has been outstanding by the Steeler defense so far. They're making the Browns earn it by throwing short passes.
Ball at 2nd and 9, and they'll go to Lewis. Shakes off one, not the other. Aaron Smith finishes him off. Kiesel was in the backfield in a hurry. They're not getting a little too conservative here. I know it's early in the 3rd quarter. 2nd possession. They were 3 and out the first time.
Well, they tried to throw 2 out of 3 passes or plays in the first drive, and they're going to throw it here most likely. So 2 out of 3. They're trying to keep some balance. They're showing respect, in which they should show respect to the Steeler defense because they make big plays. And if they get in rhythm with you, they're going to cause you to turn it over.
Stepping up, and that was a little low for Edwards to field, and I think he would have been stopped anyway. There were defenders certainly within the first down boundary.
Yeah, and you know, it's done a few things. The pressure, not really good protection, but they're throwing this Browns offense a little off rhythm. Again, I've watched them a lot. They throw more balls down the field except for 2 teams in the league, and you're not seeing that today because nobody can get open.
Zastudil once punting in the first half, now twice in the first 4 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Fair catch by Rossum, and he's disappointed that he put up the hand. So we've had nothing but 3 and outs to begin the 3rd. 46-yard punt that time. Back here in Pittsburgh, Steelers trying to get this offense rekindled. The one that produced 5 touchdown passes in the first half on Monday night. And Roethlisberger comes over to Holmes, just the 2nd catch of the game for Santonio Holmes, and it's enough for a first. Goes for 13.
Something they still do well. Bill Cowher, when he was the coach here, he believed anytime you get a corner who's off and there's a safety in the middle, that a quarterback and an offense has to throw the football to the sideline. Bruce Arians, wide receiver coach last year, now offensive coordinator, he goes, that was a good philosophy. We'll keep that one going.
They faked to Davenport this time. Roethlisberger fumbles the football. Miller chasing after it and falls on it. Boy, they popped Roethlisberger. It was Sean Smith and Ethan Kelly. Ball popped out, but recovered by Miller. Loses 13.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, you see Santonio Holmes, top of your screen, was trying to go deep. They were going for the touchdown, and he might have had a step, but pressure, something you don't hear a lot. Hines Ward going deep on the other side. But here's where they wanted to go with it. Santonio Holmes against Lee Bodden. Oh, and he hits a nice double move, and it has a chance for a touchdown, but again, the pressure by the Cleveland Browns doesn't allow him to throw it.
2nd down, 23. They'll go draw. They'll go Davenport. And they'll go only for a yard. That's it. We've got an update on the Jags and the Titans. James Brown.
Hey, Jim and Phil, Jaguars have lost 2 of the last 3 against Tennessee. But take a look here. Fred Taylor, 4-yard tiptoe and a little push there for the touchdown. That coming off of a Titan turnover. 21-3, Jacksonville. Back to Jim Nantz. Phil Simms.
Well, I was all over that game today.
Yeah, Tennessee, with the way they've been muscling people around. Garrard out, you would have thought it might have been a big day for the Titans.
If you want to lose money, if you bet them, ask me. I can pick those losers.
3rd and 23.
But nobody's betting.
Roethlisberger rolling out, still looking for some help. Safety valve was Miller, and he's unable to hold on. There is a flag.
Yeah, the lineman released and got past the line of scrimmage because Ben Roethlisberger held the ball so long, and a good job by him. You know, he could have taken a little tiny completion and punted. He was looking to pick up the first down.
An eligible man downfield, number 73 offense. Penalties decline. Makes it 4th down.
Kendall Simmons was down the field early. Antoine Peak, though, was putting pressure. Again, he sacked Roethlisberger right before the half, and he was chasing him this time.
Line of scrimmage is a 27. Look at the offensive linemen. They just drift down the field. They're past the 30.
We've had 2 drives in this half by each side. 4 drives total, and they produced 5 total yards. Sepulveda. Another fair catch This time on the Cleveland side by Cribbs. They'll be set up at the 34-yard line after the 38-yard boot. Leading 21-9. The Cleveland Browns, one win in the last 15 matchups with Pittsburgh. Leading it here 21-9 in the third at Heinz Field. And Lewis still driving. Ball came out. Recovered by the Steelers. Jamal Lewis going for that little bit extra.
Well, he had a little bit extra going. But what happens, every team now teaches, once a runner is wrapped up, a receiver, whoever has the ball, the next guy go in there and try to take it away. Keeps the pile. The pile is moving.
I think it was James Harrison who forced it again, and it's Ike Taylor.
Harrison. You're right. James Harrison, you can see, pulls the football out.
Ike Taylor recovers.
Well, James Harrison has had a couple big plays in this game today.
He's a walking turnover maker. 3 forced fumbles last week and a pick. Squeezing it in there to Hines Ward. Down to the 20-yard line. For 19.
James Harrison, 92, delivers the blow. Look at both arms going up, trying to find a football, and the strongest man probably on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, I think he can rip it out of your hands when you give him that kind of a chance.
They're in the red zone, where so far today, 3 trips, 3 field goals. First down. Parker tries to drive it low. Picks up a couple. That's it.
Well, the Steeler defense, even though the 21 points are up there by the Cleveland Browns today, a little misleading. A big return, an interception. They've made a lot of plays. They've kept this team in the game, and now they come up with a big turnover.
Go with the 2 tight end formation. Ward to the far side. Second down and 8. Little pass to Parker. Turns around, makes the catch, and stumbles to the 12. We've got a third down and about 3 coming up.
Cleveland defense finding a little personality today. You know, when I've watched them in the past, my gosh, even last week, Seattle up and down the field. But again, they kind of came up with some big stops.
We'll go with 4 wides.
Todd Grantham, defensive coordinator. That's kind of what you got to rely on when your defense struggles. Timely plays, and this would be a place to do it.
Can they hold them to a field goal again? Roethlisberger throws. Ward's wide open. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. They caught Lee Bodden blitzing. Ward was left alone, and Roethlisberger has thrown a touchdown for the 14th consecutive game.
Yeah, the corner blitzes. Well, if he blitzes, somebody's got to help it out and cover over there. They either blow the assignment, the receivers crossed. Maybe that's what happened to the Cleveland Browns defense, but a huge mental mistake by the Cleveland Browns.
Reed adds 1 more. They take advantage of the turnover. That's the 13th play today inside the Cleveland 30, and at last they have found the end zone. The Steeler Nation silenced most of the afternoon with Cleveland jumping on them early. Now something to rally behind. The Pittsburgh defense creates the turnover. Roethlisberger takes him the rest of the way, and it's 21-16. And Cribbs tumbles at the 33.
Well, Jim, let me show you what happens on the touchdown. Hines Ward's here. 2 receivers, 2 defenders. Watch them both go with Santonio Holmes. Nobody covers Hines Ward, and it's a blitz. Somebody's coming free, and you're the quarterback. Watch Ben Roethlisberger. Leans on that back foot. Boy, that's textbook. Stays relaxed under pressure, and then when he lets it go, perfect spiral right on target. That's why he's pretty good.
Ward's 4th touchdown of the season. And Lynn bringing electricity to the arena here at Heinz Field. And first down, Anderson. Over to Jur Vicious. He carries a defender with him to the 42. It's Deshae Townsend on his back, but it goes for 9 yards.
Yeah, the Cleveland offense, well, like any offense, even for the Steelers, you saw they were struggling. But once you get a first down or 2 of them, play calling, the coaches get a feel, but the players just get rolling. And a defense sometimes gets tired. That's when you make plays.
It's Lewis. First handle since fumbling, and this time he loses a couple. 3rd and about 3 is coming up. We've got an update on the Chiefs-Broncos tilt.
Denver has lost 5 of its last 6, Jim, but take a look after a Damon Hewitt fumble. It's recovered by Nate Webster. The ball knocked loose by Elvis Dumerville. Picked up by Webster. He takes it 17 yards to pay dirt. 20-8 was the score. Then it is now 20-11 Denver. Jim and Phil.
Thank you, JB. You see Damon Hewitt was decked there. They brought in Brody Croyle right behind that. Big 3rd down here. Roethlisberger and everyone else waving. 3rd and 3, and Anderson lobs it, and Winslow was open. The defense comes through again. No first downs in the second half.
Yeah, that second down run was really devastating. Kellen Winslow is open. Nice move on Troy Polamalu, but Derek Anderson had people on his feet, and Ben Roethlisberger says, yes, we got momentum. Get me back on the field.
Pittsburgh trying to set up return. They did not rush the punter. It's Rossum spinning around inside the 10. And he steps out at the 14. We got another update. James Brown, we send it right back to you.
Philly was trailing 15-7 to the Skins when Donovan McNabb hooks up here with L.J. Smith, drills an 8-yard bullet across the middle. Smith's first touchdown of the season, Jim. It is now a 15-13 ball game. Skins nursing a 2-point lead going into the 4th. Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
All right, James Brown, a good one there. Thank you very much. Here, the momentum certainly has shifted. Pittsburgh is down 21-6. Get the field goal right before the half, 4 seconds to go. And a touchdown the last time they had it here in the 3rd. Willie Parker unable to get too much acceleration. We'll give him a yard. That's it. Pro Bowl voting is underway. You can vote for your favorite players at NFL.com/Pro Bowl or text PRO to 7777 via your Sprint service. Standard text rates apply. You vote, they play. It's only at NFL.com. 2nd down and 9, and Willie Parker 15 carries for 80 yards, but he had one big run in the first half that went for 31. 2nd and 9. Washington creates separation. And finally, Eric Wright pushes him out, but not until there's another first down for the Steelers. Well, the receiver out of Tiffin University in Ohio. Only the 2nd player in school history to make the NFL. The other one played back in the 1920s. A guy named Walt Jean in Washington had 2 touchdowns on Monday night. Picks up a first down with that catch. New set of downs at the 28. Willie Parker again. That left side has been pretty much closed down most of the day. That only goes for a yard. Willie Parker, it was kind of a short week. Well, to begin with, it was because they played Monday night. He took an extra day off on Wednesday. Took a pounding in that game against Baltimore, had his worst game of the year, 23 carries, 42 yards, but he's been over 100 5 of the 8 games on the season.
Yeah, Willie Parker talked about during the offseason. This is a guy that's motivated, couldn't even play at the University of North Carolina. He goes, I want to be the best. So he worked harder than ever again this offseason, trying to get ready. And of course, when you want a good team, you need guys to work hard, and he's one of them.
Osberger with more pressure, and he is sacked at the 24. Robert Smith. There's also pressure again by Antoine Peak, who has certainly had an active afternoon.
Well, what they're doing, Jim, they're coming after him a little more. That's 5 guys coming, so that makes everybody singled up, and they're getting to the quarterback. And down the field, the Steelers trying to go deep. But Ben Roethlisberger, when you go deep, you know what that means? It takes a while to throw it. You need protection. And a good timely blitz by the Cleveland Browns defense.
3rd and 14 would be a huge stop for Cleveland, given that the Steelers took it to the end zone the last time on a short field. Roethlisberger to Davenport, and he will be stopped short of the first. Leon Williams brings him down after a gain of 10.
You know, sometimes you can't wait for players to make a play, and Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator, he dialed up the blitz. It caught the Steelers off guard, and coaches, all the time you hear me say it, coaches got to make plays too, and with their play calling and being aggressive, and it worked for them this past drive.
Sepulveda with an awkward spin on that one to Cribbs at the 26. And only to the 32-yard line after a 41-yard punt. We've got another update on the Jags and the Titans, JB.
Hey, Jim, I don't know if Phil experienced a drought like this, but take a look at Vince Young hooking up with Justin Gage, splitting the defenders, a 20-yard strike, capping a 10-play, 67-yard drive. First touchdown tossed by Vince Young since September 24th. Jacksonville up 21-13 in the fourth. Back to Jim and Phil.
Titans trying to fight back in that one. Look at the second half possessions for the Browns.
Well, I want to answer James Brown's question. Yeah, I had a drought like that. I was sitting on the bench. Go a long time without throwing a touchdown.
Again, no first downs in this half for Cleveland. And that is Lewis with Larry Foote with them all the way for only a yard. Tomorrow on CBS, revenge becomes a family affair. David Caruso stars in a new episode of Monday night's #1 drama, CSI Miami, tomorrow at 10/9 Central on America's #1 network. So Anderson going with the passes of the short variety. That only picked up a yard. Now it's Lewis churning out for about 7, but there is a flag.
During the run, holding, offense number 84, a 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Joe Jaravicius on the outside. Got a hugging contest going on there. That is, both guys are holding. I think their face mask actually might have got stuck.
Yeah, it looks like they're lodged.
That is some tug of war.
Backs up the Browns to the 25 and sets up 2nd and 17. Again, underneath and that through the fingertips of Lewis.
Well, the Steeler defense, they are all over these receivers. They can't get down the field. And Derek Anderson is absolutely not in rhythm. A little jumpy in the pocket, a little jittery, and it's making those short throws. That's why he's missing them. They're off target. The speed of the ball is not perfect.
He told you yesterday, I don't want to force throws. We need to pick up their third down pressures because the wild, crazy stuff they do forces bad throws.
Well, this is one of those wild, crazy moments.
With seconds to go in the third. 3rd and 17. And a flag in the secondary. Going to be a delay of game. Roy Ellison, the umpire, saw it.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense. Please reset the game clock to 7 seconds.
And it's going to be a little wilder and a little crazier with 3rd and 22.
Well, when it goes like this, you just keep going backwards. The fans, the crowd, you're not doing anything on offense. You know what you try to do? Try to get off the field. Just don't make a mistake in a situation like this.
Comes the blitz. He flags down at the line of scrimmage. Steve Hyden carries it out to the 30. Cleveland thinks this is against the Steelers.
Offside. Defense, number 51. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
So they'll open the final quarter, again facing 3rd and long. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. In this game, DA with 3 touchdown passes, all in the first half. Roethlisberger trying to find that Monday magic when he threw 5 touchdowns against the Ravens. We start the final quarter. Jim Nance, Phil Simms here in Pittsburgh. 3rd and 17 for the Browns, who failed to pick up a first down in the entire quarter. The 3rd quarter had 16 total yards. Anderson hit when he threw it, and it's incomplete. He's trying to find Winslow, Tyrone Carter, and Troy Polamalu. Some vicious hitting out there.
Yeah, this is an ill-advised throw by Derek Anderson. Troy Polamalu, 43, just standing in the middle. And if Kellen Winslow doesn't reach out and kind of pull the arms down of Troy Polamalu, he is going to intercept the pass.
Zastadill's punt. It's a short one, but forces the fair catch at the 34 by Rossum. 41-yard punt. Actually just fine. They got the job done for the Browns. Audience continue to love Survivor. See why it's thrashing its rivals. It's still the original and still the best. Survivor China is Thursday at 8 at 7 Central on America's most watched network, CBS. So that Cleveland offense that kept the football for almost 9 minutes the first time it had the ball in this game, unable to find any rhythm so far in the second half. And while the Steelers down 5, have been down by as many as 15. And there's Willie Parker. Shoestring tackle by Lee Bodden after a gain of 5. Willie Parker talking in our meetings this week about how, again, something you've touched on, but when the field is wet, he has to become a power back. And when you slip on the first step, it's hard to get going. He had a little acceleration with that one, but a Bodden tackle prevents a big gainer. Call it second and a short 5 as Roethlisberger again has the heat and has a great catch by Hines Ward. Reach back behind him. And the Steelers are set up in Cleveland territory after a gain of 19.
Well, it's a blitz by the Cleveland Browns. They are not allowing Ben Roethlisberger to run out of the pocket. He wanted to, so you kept him in there. He makes the throw down the field, and you said it, Jim, it is a tremendous catch by Hines Ward. Of course, they're going this no huddle. They've got everything going their way. They want to keep it that way by speeding up the process.
Parker wrapped up quickly by Holly for only one.
Hines Ward coming across the field. It's a blitz. They're playing a zone behind it and throws behind you. What an adjustment. And that's what separates wide receivers in the NFL. Can you come across the field and it's thrown behind you? Can you reach back and grab it and still go forward? Well, Hines Ward can.
2nd and 9 on the Cleveland 41. And Robert Smith on that Cleveland defensive front says they move first.
False start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Robert Smith, that's a name you said quite a few times today. He is helping stop the run, but he's been part of the pressure when they put it on Ben Roethlisberger. He's been a pretty big part of that. He's played the Tennessee Titans.
Signed as a free agent. Coming to Cleveland. And this defense now, 2nd and 14, trying to stall the Steelers here in the second half. Another first down grab by Washington. They gain 16.
You know, you see this formation, Jim. Why teams do that? Because it makes defenders give them room. Because they're worried about running into each other. And so they gave the room. That allowed the receiver to be open, and Ben Roethlisberger rhythm and on target with a good throw.
They have run the football the last 5 first down plays. And they've got first down from the Cleveland 30. But not this time. Holmes pulls it in. Ball comes out. They rule it incomplete. Boy, it looked like his head was about to be ripped off. Holly on the hit.
Devin Holly on the outside. Good job by the quarterback, looking right, coming all the way across the field. And probably should have been a completion. Santonio Holmes let it go through his hands. Here's the bunch formation again. Our 3 receivers together. Body meter screen.
2nd down and 10. Roethlisberger. Spaeth, the rookie, unable to hold on to it. Trying to make his move. Certainly was open enough.
I'd say open. He's wide open. These are tough throws because it's tough for the quarterback to see in front sometimes, and the receiver. Do you think he was going, there's got to be somebody there ready to hit me?
Yeah.
And he took his eye off the ball just for a split second. That causes the incompletion.
Got to get to the 20 for the first. 3rd and 10. Stepping up, now taking off. And again, the middle of the field is open. Roethlisberger inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. What a run by Roethlisberger. Steelers lead for the first time today.
They don't want him to go this way, but you've got to keep somebody in front of him. He looked as long as he could for a receiver, nobody open, and that is an excellent run by the quarterback.
That was on 3rd and 10. They're going to go for 2. The 30-yard touchdown, the longest run of his NFL career. So he's thrown for 1 and run for another in this half. And the Steelers have come back from 15 down, going for 2 now.
Well, they want to get a 3-point lead, but what it does, if you don't get it and you score a touchdown, it still leaves Cleveland 1 score and 2 points away.
They got it. Hines Ward. from 15. Roethlisberger runs it in for the lead and throws for the 2. Then Roethlisberger wears number 7 because of John Elway. He grew up a big 49ers fan, admiring that Montana-Rice combo. Says even though he's an Ohio boy, he hated both the Browns and the Bengals while growing up. Of course, he gets to see them twice a year. He's led this comeback from 15 down with 18 unanswered points. That touched the fingertips of Cribbs. He has to pick it up and was stuck right just outside the goal line. And the high wire act down the sideline. He did not step out. There is no signal he stepped out. He's got Hyden out in front of him. Cribbs could take it all the way for the touchdown, Cleveland. No indication he stepped out. 100 yards.
Jim, you said it. The ball ticked his fingers, I think, as he went to pick up the bouncing kickoff. And the big question is, does he step out of bounds?
No.
What a high wire act. You said it right.
Incredible. That ball, he was waiting for it to roll into the end zone for a touchback, and then out of desperation, he had to just scoop it up and take off. He did not step out, but the flag challenge, the red flag is out on the Pittsburgh sideline.
Well, even before Mike Tomlin sees any video evidence, such a big play, got to challenge it.
Pittsburgh has challenged the ruling on the field, but the runner did not step out of bounds.
And a lot of credit to the Cleveland Brown return team. They all keep hustling. They don't slow down, and it allows Cribbs to go down the field and score a touchdown.
What a play by Cribbs. The kick return has been reviewed after the challenge by the Steelers. They're hoping he was out of bounds. It's been reviewed by Ron Winter. Here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner did not step out of bounds. Therefore, it is a touchdown.
Joshua Cribbs, 90 yards earlier in this game to set up a short touchdown, and this time 100 yards. That's as close as he came.
Look at the green outside the foot. Very clear. And what a balancing act. The divot mark even proves that he touched none of the white.
The divot cam having a very busy day here.
I don't know if I've ever done a game where we've had divot marks to prove it. The runners have not gone out of bounds or pass receivers.
Boy, Braylon Edwards and that whole Cleveland sideline jumping for joy again off of the result of the challenge. It's gone their way again. So the Browns did not trail for long. Romeo and the Browns back in front. Courtesy of Joshua Cribbs, we've had 2 lead changes on the last 18 seconds. Taking that 100 yards after what looked like it was going to be a colossal error. With the ball hovering near the goal line, he had to finally take out the risk, scoop it up, and then took off the 100 yards. And that's not much of a return as Mike Adams is down there to cover it quickly on Rossum. Here it is.
The squib kick, it looked like it hit his fingertips. The ball was not going to roll in the end zone. Good decision, knowing the rules by him, which they go over all the time in these teams. And then the hustle by the Cleveland Browns. Steve Hyden all the way down the field. Helped for the blocks.
Look at Derek Anderson.
I tell you, the Browns, they can celebrate. They know how to whoop it up after a touchdown, and they've had some unbelievable touchdowns in this game.
Steelers come out with a run, just a couple. Rodney Poole in quickly on Willie Parker. You know, you look at Pittsburgh running the football against Cleveland, and you take into account a game last December where they rushed for over 300 yards against them, then over 200 yards in game 1 this year. They've had 500 plus yards on the ground against the Browns in their last 2 matchups.
Yeah, one of the reasons why they've been so patient with the running game here today.
And again, able to make the quick hit with Andre Davis along with Simon Frazier. 1 yard, that's it, and the crowd's not happy. Couple of running plays, netting only 3 yards.
Well, you want to get a little mumbling in the crowd, a little booing. Just run the ball 2 times in an NFL game. You know what they're all saying? What are they saying in the stands, Jim? What? I can predict the plays. I can predict them. They're so predictable today.
Third and 7. Will they go back to Hines Ward? Actually, they get the completion with Santonio Holmes.
Well,
and a first down.
You know, Jim, I'm sure the Cleveland Browns went over this. They're pressuring very well from the outside, but nobody inside is keeping their lanes. They're letting Ben Roethlisberger step up, and another good job by him. You know, I don't know, I hate to go over the top, but he might be the best. Name me a guy that's better once he moves, finding receivers down the field than Ben Roethlisberger.
That one for 18 yards. We approach 9 minutes left in the game. Then he steps away from the pressure. And again, the catch is made by Holmes. This time in Cleveland territory at the 41, 15 yards.
You know, now it was a different look. It's a 3-man rush. My advice there is quit it because it just doesn't work. And he knows, he's very savvy. He must look at the pass rush a little bit, Ben Roethlisberger, because he knows how to time what he is trying to do. You see the 3-man rush? Move around a little, get the extra time.
And they're going hurry up again. Parker able to squeeze out about 6 with that one into the arms of Sean Smith.
Who just made it on the field.
Parker up to 98 yards now on the ground in this game. Miller with a stiff arm as he's knocked out of bounds by Sean Jones. 10 more.
Well, it's a good decision. Good stiff arm by Sean Miller, but a good decision by Ben Roethlisberger. Boy, right to the jaw. See it more and more in the NFL now. They're so talented, receivers, the tight ends, so hard to bring down, and the stiff arm just has become part of everybody's repertoire.
Steelers moving rapidly down the field. And they go with Parker. It's Robert Smith after a gain of about 3. Next Saturday, the LSU Tigers, #1 in the country, take on Ole Miss. And it all begins, our coverage with Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, TIAA Crep, College Football Today. Parker goes over 100 with that last carry. 2nd down and 7 with 7 minutes left. And again, not able to get away. Actually thought he might, but Eric Wright was able to hold on.
Yes, that is a good point. He held on, and he did the smart thing. Two things. He comes out this side, he doesn't jump, and he goes down low. Because Eric Wright, if he goes above the waist, Ben Roethlisberger would swat him away like he was a little child. But Romeo Crennel talked about it. Don't go for the big hits. When you get a shot at Roethlisberger, go in under control and try to get your arms around him. And that was a good job by Eric Wright.
4 sacks today after they had 7 through the first 8 games. And it's 3rd and 18. Pump fake underneath to Miller. Miller with room, and he dives for the first down. 3rd and 18, and they convert. This is after the last time they had the ball. Roethlisberger ran it in on 3rd and 10 from the 30.
Yeah, what's the defense? Look, they just keep dropping. And again, Roethlisberger goes, well, no pressure. Don't be in a hurry. The defense kept dropping back. So when he threw the short pass to Heath Miller, there was a lot of room and a lot of separation.
Hines Ward helped create that separation, shielding Andre Davis.
All the receivers were going deep.
First down now at the 13. Able to make up the ground off the sack. Pick up the first. As Parker for about a yard.
You know, what's happened here, Jim, is you look at the score. The Steelers, of course, need a touchdown to win. And the drive has taken time, and you're down to 5 minutes. You actually start to think, well, if we don't get it, we go for it on 4th down.
You also start to think, if they do get it, to this Cleveland offense that has been stagnant in the second half without a first down, is going to have to respond here at the end of the game if they want to win it. And that's if the Steelers are able to close this one out, this drive. Parker looking to throw. Lobs it toward the end zone, and that was well covered, actually. Sean Jones, Andre Davis, they read it out. Miller was the target.
Well, when you put guys in unfamiliar situations, sometimes they don't do it well. I'm sure during practice this week, Willie Parker carried out the fake and made it really look good. The ball was tossed to him, and he immediately goes up to throw it, and the defense is not fooled.
Can remember being here for a game a few years back when Jerome Bettis,
sure,
on the very same side of the field, running right, threw a touchdown pass against the Jets. Didn't work this time, though, by Parker. 3rd down and 9. Roethlisberger now. Gonna run. Gonna shake off one hit. And he's near the first down. Will have it. Again, a huge 3rd down play. He got away from Willie McGinnis. Kendall Simmons actually hit McGinnis. Blocked him.
Yeah, when you're a quarterback and you run in there like, I don't care how big you are, boy, you're going to take some hits. But Willie McGinnis has a chance to bring him down. Watch this. Just sticks that big left arm out there, and it just can't bring him down.
Roethlisberger a little shaky getting up, but they've got 1st and goal to go. Davenport in the backfield, looking for the lead. Davenport stuffed right at the line. Sean Jones coming up. First contact.
Well, last week it was Ben Roethlisberger getting out of the pocket and throwing it down the field, and this week can't get outside the pocket, going forward and making huge plays. If they score, he's been the difference in the game for sure.
Career high 49 yards rushing for Roethlisberger, who has thrown for 97 yards in this quarter. 2nd and goal. Play action. Roethlisberger fires it. Caught. Miller. Touchdown. Steelers.
This was some drive by Ben Roethlisberger. Again, watch the calmness under pressure and just fires it. What a catch by Heath Miller. This football is thrown as hard as he can throw it.
Hold on a minute. Timeout called first.
Well, are the Cleveland Browns going to challenge it?
Cleveland's calling a timeout. Maybe want to buy a little time to get another look at that Miller catch. You can see the flag is poised, ready to be thrown onto the field.
Well, I think if it's because you can't call a timeout and then decide to challenge it. So Romeo Crennel, if he called a timeout or said to somebody on the sideline that he wanted to challenge it, that's different. Look at his throw.
Well, I don't know. I think that ball may have hit the ground.
Well, there's no question he hit the ground. But the rule is, if you have possession of the football and it hits the ground, it's still a catch. The question is, does he have clean possession? But look at the calmness, just avoiding Willie McGinnis. In my eyes, that's a catch, Jim. that last angle from behind actually showed it looked like his arm was under the football.
You know, that one didn't indicate that the arm was under the ball. It was on the side of it.
Yeah, that's on the side.
But is it in control?
Yeah, that's right. If you have possession, it can hit the ground. And you're going to say, you got to be careful.
Cleveland has challenged the ruling on the field of a catch for a touchdown.
And you're going to say, well, I see the ball move. Well, of course it's going to move when it hits the ground with the force that these big guys put on it.
Into the voting booth goes Ron Winter. We'll take a break here in Pittsburgh. We have the odd situation here where Cleveland could actually cost itself 2 timeouts. They took the timeout, then into timeout, the challenge.
The receiver had the ball in his right hand, did not lose control of the ball throughout the process of completing the catch. Therefore, it is a touchdown. Cleveland is charged with their second team timeout.
So that's a big mismanagement there for the Browns. It cost them 2 timeouts.
You cannot call a timeout and then say, I want a challenge. You got to challenge first. And this rule, Jim, you remember Tampa Bay against St. Louis in the championship game, I don't know the year, where the receiver caught it, but it hit the ground, was incomplete. They've changed the rule since then. And
well, if you're going to call a timeout, you might as well in the first place just issued a challenge. If you're going to burn a timeout anyway, that's the most you could have lost. And instead it's a double. And a nice job there on the hold by Sepulveda. And the extra point makes it 31-28. Our third lead change of the quarter. As Roethlisberger listening to the call.
What a drive by him. The scrambles, the tough throw there. And when we were meeting with Mike Tomlin on Friday, I said to him, you know, Coach, when you get a head job, I always hear, make sure you take a head coaching position and you got a quarterback in place. Did you feel you had the quarterback here when you took the job? And he leaned back in his chair and laughed. He says, oh, yeah. That's right. Because, you know, you can't overcome that. The time you draft him and get him ready, you get fired.
There is a history here, a good history between Coach Tomlin and Coach Crennel.
Yes.
When Mike Tomlin was at the University of Cincinnati as an assistant, he interned for Romeo under the minority internship program that the league has. This is 2000 when Romeo was on the Cleveland staff. Romeo gave him a project in camp to break down some tendencies and personnel on a scouting report. Says after Tomlin ripped it up and looked into it and took care of all the work, I knew
he could do it.
He had a future.
Well, Bill Belichick had told Romeo Crennel, taught him, when you get interns or coaches that come and help you this summer, make sure you give them projects and work them to see if they can be coaches one day in the NFL.
Let's see what they do. And they're going to try to play keep away from Cribbs, no doubt. Takes it on one hop. And they're able to converge quickly.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger running the football. That's what's won the game for him here today. Big third down run twice. One for a touchdown. Another one that leads to a touchdown pass. Now you turn into a cheerleader.
3:10 remaining. Browns 1 timeout. No first downs in this half.
Jim, time is not that big of a factor. 3:10, 2-minute warning, and 1 timeout left.
Can they find the rhythm again, though? There was so much in gear in the first half. That pass behind Edwards.
Edwards is open. Derek Anderson. And it just has lost that rhythm and confidence, whatever you want to say. He's missing some short throws that he should be able to make.
Their last first down was the touchdown. That counts actually in the stats as a first down. The one to Edwards with 5:24 remaining in the first half. 2nd and 10. Got the protection. Now the throw. Incomplete. Edwards trying to come back for it. Mike Taylor was right there with him. The only catch for Edwards today was the one that went for the touchdown off the review.
Well, again, This is not an easy throw and catch. Ben Roethlisberger is showing his emotions, but Derek Anderson, you got to throw it with belief.
And where is Winslow? Had a big first quarter. Got 4 catches in the game. He's in a slot to the right on the near side. Third and 10. Stepping up is Anderson. Off balance, flings it just a little too far for Jervicius.
Well, you punt with a 2-minute warning and 1 timeout, and only down a field goal. Derek Anderson, nobody open. Then really just throws the football away.
Polamalu with a little contact beyond the 5 yards. It's 4th and 10, and they are punting with Zastadil. He lets fly a big one. And gets the gracious kick. He will finally settle at the 11. 64 yards. The snapper, Ryan Pomprion, was the one who downed it. Derek Anderson in the first half hit Winslow, hit Vickers, hit Edwards for touchdowns. Second half, though, the whole Cleveland attack has failed to muster anything.
Yeah, it's just, you know, we're talking about Cleveland's offense. Really, we should be saying Pittsburgh's defense. They're the ones that are making it happen.
That's right.
Pressure on Derek Anderson, and the coverage of the Steelers secondary it's as good as I've ever seen them play when it comes to running with receivers down the field.
Now the Browns defense must come up big, give their team any chance. And Willie Parker dives ahead, no gain.
Take
Sean
the
Thompson.
timeout. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I was going to say, you take it right now.
Coming up, we got the Subway postgame show with JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer. Coach Power, all the latest scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Mike Tomlin pretty calm on the sideline. Meeting with him this week, he just doesn't strike me, or after meeting him, doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to get real nervous. He says, I believe in the people I've hired. I'm not a micromanager. Let them do their jobs, and he knows he'll make the big, tough decisions when it comes towards him.
A little surprised by all the attention here, this Steeler Nation, not maybe really fully appreciating how strong it is until he got here.
Well, yeah, that's right.
All the celebrity that comes with it. People showing up at his kids' soccer games.
His son, Dino, called him from school one day and said, Dad, your face, your picture's on a bus. So it's a big deal to be the head coach of the Steelers. 2nd
down and 9, and the Steelers again trying to plow ahead. It's Parker for 1 yard, and they're going to let it now with Cleveland out of timeouts. This will take it down to the 2-minute warning. And 3rd down coming out of the break.
And it's 3rd down. You're only down by 3. You just need a field goal, and you got the Steelers backed up.
How many big plays has that man right there made in this second half on 3rd down? One more play by Roethlisberger would ice it.
I think you said it at the beginning of this game today. Ben Roethlisberger under the radar, playing terrific, but getting lost because of the play of Tom Brady.
His next snap, Phil Simms, comes from about the 13-yard line. Will they throw it on 3rd and 8?
Oh, Jim, I think you got to be aggressive here. You got to try to win the game. You don't punt this and hope that Cleveland doesn't get any yards to get a tying field goal attempt.
The Browns can stop them. You're right. They should have excellent field position.
There'll be one-on-one coverage against all the receivers.
1st down would all but lock it up. Roethlisberger taking off on the run. He's not going to get it this time. Crash in on him quickly, including Sean Smith and others.
Yeah, the defense, it lined up. They got everybody inside, and he's going to run like a delayed quarterback draw. But look at the defenders. Everybody's in here. They got extra guys, and they're not going to let Ben Roethlisberger run the football for a 1st down.
They will punt the football to Cribbs. Sepulveda standing near the goal line. the rookie punter. There is Cribbs. What a difference maker he's been in this game with his kick returns. Can he come out with the big punt return? This is one you can return for sure. Low driving kick. Cribbs takes the middle of the field. Cribbs is inside the 40 and down at the 38, and the Browns are set up. But there is a flag back at the 15-yard line. Cribbs, who went to Kent State, was a teammate with the Steelers' James Harrison there at Kent State. Here they are meeting on the field today, both making big plays. 43-yard punt, 19-yard return.
During the kick, holding. Number 87 of the return team.
Oh, that's a big one.
A 10-yard penalty. First down.
I'd say it's big. You're almost in field goal range right now, where the ball ended up on about the 38 or 39-yard line.
They'll take it from the point of the infraction, and it will now, instead of being at the 38 of Pittsburgh, Cleveland snaps it at its own 43.
28 yards difference.
Actually, nope, they're putting it back at the 33.
So you say my math is wrong?
No, you're right on. 29 yards.
Okay.
Close enough. We rounded off for you. Ball was deflected at the line with a minute to go. Cleveland coming off of big rallies in its last two games. 15 points, 14 points. In fact, their 15-point comeback win is the largest come-from-behind victory in the league this year. And the Steelers have a chance to match that today if their defense can hold on right now. Anderson has missed on his last 6 throws. Not this time. Jurevicius turns it upfield. Jurevicius trying to get to the sideline. Doesn't make it, but has the first down at the 49. Picks up 16 on Deshae Townsend. And a spike at 41 seconds. Bill Dawson staying loose. His career long is 52. This is not a stadium, for whatever reason, has ever yielded big kicks. The longest ever here is a 50-yarder by Reed last year. It took a number of years before anyone even got beyond 48 yards for a successful kick. And it's into a slight breeze the way Cleveland's headed right now. What a scene here in Pittsburgh. 2nd and 10 from the 49. Middle of the field. They've got the hook up to Winslow. Polamalu rides him down at the 38. 13 yards on the Anderson bullet. And again, they'll stop it at 27 seconds.
Well, all day long, these wide receivers and even Kellen Winslow, they struggle getting open. But 2 plays when they needed it most, they've gotten free, and Derek Anderson lets him go and makes 2 very good throws.
Gotta be careful. They go middle of the field. Again, no timeouts. From here, it'll be about a 56-yard field goal. Looking to get much closer.
He caught it.
He caught it. He'd been better off had he not. That's Jurevicius. Picked up only 3 yards. If they spike it here, it'll be 4th down. So, and they do with 11 seconds.
That's what you had to do, Jim. No choice. You spike it and you kick a long field goal. You give yourself a chance to at least tie it.
It would be 53 yards. Now in the warm-ups today, this is going in the other direction. This is Dawson from 52. They're bringing him out.
Yeah, you got to do it. There was some hesitation by the Cleveland coaching staff and Romeo Cornell.
Will the Steelers...
They might not get it off. Do they know the play clock?
The Steelers have 2 timeouts. They will not ice him. Dawson to try to tie it. lets it all out, and the kick is short. The Steelers are going to win it. Officially, it was a 52-yard try.
And Jim, you said it, just that little bit of a breeze was just enough to make the football fall a couple yards short.
And a takedown for Roethlisberger.
That's great.
2-point takedown.
Pittsburgh, when they're not at the best, still found a way to win.
Boy, that penalty on the punt return was mighty big. Subway post-game show is coming up. 2 tough wins in 6 days. Well, this one much tougher than the one over Baltimore. And a little scuffle here, and the rivalry certainly has heated up again, hasn't it? Pittsburgh beating Cleveland for the 9th time in a row. That's Harrison in there mixing it up with Steve Hayden and others. Antoine Peak of the Browns, and things finally settle down. It's in the books now with a Steeler victory. They matched the Browns' 15-point comeback from a couple of weeks back from last week. Largest comeback match of the year. Subway post-game show is coming up shortly. The Steelers now with a firm hold in first place in the AFC North. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms saying so long here. Steelers win it 31-28.